This is the American Iconoclast back at you. This is a part two to another video I did about the FBI Justice Department wanting to unlock the San Bernardino's shooter's iPhone, his work iPhone. In fact, the problem there is that if they try to unlock it too many times, it's going to wipe the phone. If you aren't familiar with this issue, go back and watch the first video on that. I'll put a bubble up somewhere around here where you can click a link and go watch that first and then come back to watch this one. And I'll also put that link in the description. Well, it's exactly as I thought it would. This article's on the New York Daily News. This is what I predicted. The Justice Department's now coming clear and being a little more honest that they want they want Apple to unlock 12 more phones, encrypted phones, not related to terrorism. Okay, so we all knew this was coming. This is why Apple is fighting this, because if the FBI gets their way, it's kind of game over for encryption and privacy in this country. Everyone has smartphones. And in fact, this affects you if you're outside the United States. If you want the U.S. government spying on you, if they happen to get a hold of your phone, or maybe they hold you for a suspected crime, they take your phone, they unlock it through this back door, and then they find something incriminating, and they turn around and charge you with something. I hate when people say, "Well, I don't have anything to hide." It doesn't matter if you have anything to hide. If you don't have anything to hide, then why don't you make your house out of glass and change in front of the windows? I mean, it's just, why don't you just advertise it, that you have valuable things in your house? If you have nothing to hide, then why do you have privacy in your physical world? It's the same thing as the digital world. Privacy is privacy. It's kind of like, gun-free zones. Why are they posting signs that say gun-free zones? It just attracts people that want to kill other people and don't want to face an opposing force. It's the same kind of deal here. You're not advertising the fact that you have all this stuff just because you say, well, I have nothing to hide. Hiding something is not necessarily indicative of a crime. It's just a simple privacy issue. So here we go. Federal authorities will pursue court orders in at least 12 other cases around the country for which they demand Apple to help them bypass iPhone encryption to assist with their investigations. This is apparently reported from the Wall Street Journal. The details of the roughly dozen cases are unknown, but they aren't related to terrorism, as the San Bernardino case is, which set off a dispute between Apple and law enforcement officials. See, the Justice Department is using public pressure and image to get at Apple. So and it works, right? So if the public doesn't fully understand this issue, they're also going to pressure Apple to do this. And Apple is absolutely in the right. And in fact, since this has come up, Google has come out in support of Apple. Microsoft CEO has come out in support of Apple. Several tech giants have come out and said this is a horrible idea. And they're absolutely in the right. So if you happen to agree that Apple should open the iPhone, unlock this iPhone, as well as all these other iPhones that the FBI wants, I challenge you to go get educated on encryption and why it's important that this precedent is not set. Let's see. Yeah, so it's just a very dangerous precedent, like we already said. This is basically they're saying, well, we have a court order to search this phone, and we just want Apple to, because obviously they have a probable cause. I mean, that much is obvious. However, this isn't the same kind of cut and dry case as, say, if a cop had probable cause to search your vehicle, they don't need your consent in certain circumstances. However, in this case, this affects everyone. This doesn't affect the single San Bernardino shooters. This affects anyone with an iPhone. So the court order is specific to this one crime and these two individuals. It's not, this court order is not specific to the entire citizenry or any customer of Apple, for example. Because they say here, we simply want to the chance with a search warrant to try to guess the terrorist passcode without the phone essentially self-destructing and without it taking a decade to guess correctly. Because when you guess the passcode wrong a couple of times, it tells you to wait a minute, and then if you guess it wrong again, it's like 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour. You know, it just keeps getting bigger. So they don't have that capability anyway, because this phone is set to wipe after 10 incorrect guesses anyway. So they really don't have an option here. But the problem is, if Apple puts a backdoor here, it affects every iPhone, and that's a problem. And this shows how much they either don't understand the issue or they're doing doublespeak. We don't want to break anyone's encryption or set a master key loose on the land. Well, that is a master key. If you bypass the capability of the brute force protection, such as waiting a minute, 15 minutes, hour, whatever, or bypassing, you know, the self wipe after 10 tries, it's essentially you are backdooring the phone. You're bypassing the security controls on the phone. This can be used by any government, whether it be the U.S. or any adversarial government. It could be used by hackers. It could be used by anyone. It's just definitely not something that we need to do. So basically, they're citing previous cases where Apple has unlocked phones for criminal investigations on older operating systems. The problem is the newer phone is a newer standard of encryption that, quite frankly, Apple's not going to be able to bypass. And you know, if you know anything about encryption, it's really easy to do one direction, but really complicated to reverse unless you know the passcode or the or whatever the passphrase is for the encryption. So, you know, the problem here is, like I said earlier, the problem here is that this affects not only all U.S. citizens, but any customer of Apple across the world. This is definitely something that's really dangerous precedent. I would seriously advise, if you are in the U.S., to, if you can, contact your representative and tell them that you're completely against this. You know, publicly support Apple. I'm doing it right now. You know, maybe I'll send an email to Apple and just say, hey, look, you know, appreciate you standing up against this issue because it's important. If you value your privacy, this is an issue that that you can't ignore. Anyway, this is American Iconoclast. I'll be back with some more videos soon. I've just been a little bit busy, and I appreciate you watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe.